A big turnaround once again. They did go 1-0 down for the 10th time this season. They came back from a losing position, or at least from losing to begin with, if that makes sense, Adam McCoist.
It does make sense.
Yeah, won the game 3-1 in the end. Edinson Cavani came off the bench. That goal yesterday means that the 34-year-old has now scored 14 goals this season for Manchester United. They're expected to announce Cavani's commitment by a further year before the end of the season. This has been going around a bit. Ollie has been quite vocal in saying, look, we want him to stay. He's not having the best time in terms of his personal life because he's separated from his family, so that's why it's quite tough really for him, isn't it? What do you think? Do they need to sign him for another season?
Well, you'd have to say on current form, you know, he's one of the best strikers in Europe at the moment. The goal is it 7 or 8 in how many games? He's flying, absolutely flying. Goals at the weekend, goals against Roma. And I just think he's, you know, when he's playing like this, you know, he's hard to touch. He really is. But you know, he's at a stage in his career now, Cavani, where, you know something, the family will be more important to him than ever. And it's a tough one, you know. It really is a tough one, because he'll be getting to a stage in his career and his life where he'll clearly want to get back to the family and spend more time with the family. But if you're asking me, should United offer him one more year? You'd have to say yes. Unless, of course, they're going to go out and get a Harry Kane or something like that.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Would there be space for both of them? I suppose that's the bill, really, isn't it? That's the big question.
Yeah.
How much they both would cost.
Yeah, probably not. Because at the same time, you don't want to stunt like Greenwood's growth as well. You want to keep him coming in. We keep saying it, you know, what a job Guardiola's done with Foden and what a job Foden's done, you know, in handling that whole thing, game time. And it would be great if Greenwood could do the same to, you know, break into the Manchester United setup, because two fantastic talents, man, dear me, Foden and Greenwood, brilliant. And as I said earlier, completely different obviously, but as I said earlier, Woodsy, you know, you watch Greenwood in front of goal and you think, I mean, I watch him, I just say, he knows exactly what's required and what it's all about. He can finish proper.
This is what Luke Shaw said yesterday. We've been in this situation so many times. That's a positive. This is coming back from a losing position. That's a positive. But we need to start the first half better than we normally do. Maybe we're not ready for the game, but we have the quality and can't keep counting on second half performances. It's all well and good, isn't it, when you manage to get back into the game?
Yeah.
But you can't always do that, especially against sides that are better than you, more organised than you.
I probably think there's an element, Woodsy. I don't know whether you agree or not. I probably think there's an element of the opposition being up for Manchester United as much as MD. I'm not saying more than MD else, but if Manchester United are coming to town, wow, you're ready for them. You know what I'm saying? And there'll be an element of, because a lot of the guys in other teams, when the fixture list come out, they say, right, when are we playing Manchester United? Because of the name, Manchester United, and they'll be absolutely right up for it. But I take Luke Shaw's point, yeah? Maybe they aren't just starting the games the way they should.
Yeah. How far off do you think Manchester United are?
Not far.
To challenging Manchester City?
Well, we've seen it. You know, they can beat City. On their day, they can beat City. The thing that prevents the rest of the clubs at this moment in time is the level of consistency and results. But I think teams like, well, we spoke about Chelsea obviously this morning, Manchester United, they've certainly shown that in a one-off situation, a one-off game against Manchester City, they're more than capable of beating them. But it is the consistency over that comes with the league campaign.
Tell me how you feel about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's season if they win the Europa League.
Excellent.
And they finish second.
Excellent. I do. I mean, I can visually see Roy Keane throwing the radio out his kitchen window with me saying that, because he doesn't accept second place. But you know what I mean. I certainly think there's been improvement in Manchester United, without doubt. You know, and is second good enough for Manchester United? I would suggest this season it is. You know, because they've split Liverpool and City, who, you know, I know Liverpool haven't had the season everybody thought they would, but at the same time, the level of performance has been better. They've been far more consistent. They've got a chance, you'd have to say they've got a good, excellent chance of picking up the Europa League. And I would have thought second place, yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to hear what Manchester United fans think. Is that a good season for Manchester United, second place and the Europa League? I would suggest that is.
You have to consider progression, right? In success,
Exactly.
You can't just suddenly go click your fingers, we've won the title. It doesn't work like that, and it takes a lot of time when you have teams around you that are more established and have been doing better business for a little while, which is why they're up there in the first place.
Yep.
I mean, Europa League, massive chance there. Probably favourites going into that, you'd say. And then considering what they're doing towards, not even towards the end of the season, but I just think, look, they're the second best team in England.
Yeah.
Second best to a really excellently drilled Manchester City side who have some incredible players and an incredible manager. I think that's a big achievement, and I think there's a lot of people that have been doubting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer so far, saying, look, he'll never win any silverware.
100%. Which is, if they win their game in hand, I think they go 9 points ahead of third place Chelsea, which, come on guys, Manchester City, who we all have been speaking about all season, after a somewhat slow start, have been incredible with the level of consistency. So I think, and United, to finish second to them, and a good second in the respect that they're well ahead of the third in a Europa League. Come on, I think, and clearly there's evidence of improvement in performances. Yep. I think, honestly, if I think you're a Manchester United fan, you're reasonably happy. Well, not reasonably. You're more than reasonably happy the way things are going.
Bit of bad news yesterday, actually, for Manchester United fans.
Yeah, I know.
Harry Maguire limped off.
Yeah.
We're waiting for an update on what that injury is, how bad that injury is. Gareth Southgate was watching from the stands. Ali, we even did a stat before the game on Sky. He hasn't missed a minute of Manchester United action since he's played there in terms of Premier League, since he joined. He's a stalwart to that team at the moment, and nobody wants to see an injury in any shape. It does obviously potentially have a knock-on effect for the Europa League final as well as the Euros.
Oh, I'm gutted for him. I'm obviously keep everything crossed for Harry Maguire that he's fit for the end of the season and indeed the Euros. That would be, what a blow for the lad, more, as much as anything, more than anything. So keep your fingers crossed. I know he limped off yesterday. Gareth Southgate was at the game, but I'll tell you what, it would give Gareth a problem as well. Clearly from Manchester United's point of view, not good with the big games coming up, Europa League final, but it would be a nightmare for Gareth, because I still think, looking at England, I think that's the weakest area of a very, very strong side, is England's defence. I think middle to front, very, very good. But I just think at the top level, against the Frances and teams like that, there's still a question mark.
I'm going to give you an update on what we know. This is back page of the Sun this morning. Neil Custers is writing that you need to scan today. This is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says. It might be a few weeks, it might be a couple of days. It was his ankle, lower leg. Basically, he was collided with in that game. So we'll keep an ear out, we'll keep an eye out. We'll let you know as soon as we hear anything. Fingers crossed, really, because that's not,
absolutely.
Like we say, he hasn't missed a minute of Premier League action for Manchester United. And I know that he had an eye on that record to keep it going, and that was something that Ollie even addressed as well with their fixture congestion.
Brilliant.
The number of games building up back to back. 3 games in 5 days. He was like, everyone will have to be rotated, including Harry Maguire, and that's something that they've taken off him. So this is even worse now that he's potentially sustained an injury. So listen, we will keep you updated when we hear anything.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.